Scotsmen never ride a horse
Good morning
because they don't wear it.
and very, very welcome to this workshop. Personally, I look forward to this for months and to hope to get together, you together, and have very good discussions about what we are doing in SEMA. It all started actually by, there was a lot of work going on the SEMA theory, the theory aspect of SEMA. Nothing has happened in 3 years, and then suddenly we get people really interested in that. It also, some people that earlier worked with the kernel became available to now focus more on the theory. So we agreed on having a theory track here. It was started by Dinas and Pontus discussing how, when and where we could have it. And then we came up with another idea that we in parallel would have another track working on an evaluation of the work we've done in SEMA. So we decided to have these two together. We hope that we come out of this with some more knowledge and some more agreement on where we are going for the next couple of at least months. I have very high expectations on the theory track, at least that we get to a point where we know what we mean by theory, what are the requirements of this theory, and maybe some proposals for a foundational theory. If we can leave tomorrow evening and have a good understanding of what we expect of this theory, it would be great. If we then also have some good ideas, it would be even better. When it comes to the CMAT evaluation, which we call the practice track, we have this meeting to get you to give us feedback on what we have done so far. Are we on the right track? Have we identified the problems of the industry? Or if we do what we do, will that help us to solve the problems of the industry? And of course, with that, we expect that it will benefit the education, the research, and basically all areas of software engineering. So, this is a kind of program for these 2 days, and personally I'm really excited about it. I will basically move from track to track because I'm burning for both, and but we have Arne Barrett. He will lead the workshop on the evaluation, and Pontus will lead the workshop on the theory. Michael Gödicke, who was also a co-leader, has become sick and couldn't come. Nothing serious, but he had to be at home. By the way, now one of the cornerstones of CMAT enter the room. It's Shihon, one from Florida, who has been involved in CMAT since its beginning, Florida Atlantic University. With that, I would just have a short, so this is just the kind of program. And if you have any questions at this early time, we are happy to answer them. If not, it's good. And we just move on. And my next point is to give you a very, very brief presentation of how we came up with CMAT and what kind of things we are addressing. And this is a keynote. I have made extracts from that keynote, so that's why it's called like it is. We call it the essence, what we should teach you about software at school. So this is not only, but of course it's not only about teaching, it's about having something useful to teach, useful for the industry. I have one paragraph here, the state of the industry. We know it's lousy. Well, we are building fantastic software in the world. Without software, we cannot run today. But there are still enormously many real failures. And the success stories are so good that they can survive. We can survive even if we have too many failures. But I'm not going to talk about these because we all heard about it. I would like to talk about the specific problems that we addressed when we started C. And now Mira Kaiko-Mattsson, professor at Royal Institute of Technology, is also coming. Welcome, Mira. She has also been very instrumental for the work we have done in CMAT.
Any of these trained ages in the room?
No,
Good.
but we have them for the evening. And in particular, if you do a good job, they will participate, they may participate in your dreams.
Oh, you've met my wife, so.
Yeah, you wouldn't dream about anything.
I have nightmares. I don't see that. That's not bad. So that should shut your mouth.
It does.
Mine too.
It does. So anyway, we have had many successes and many paradigms that we have been working with over the years, and you know all about them. The problem is, and now we have, Scrum is overwhelming, and of course there are good things, very practical things in Scrum. That's why it's very easy to learn. So that's why it becomes so popular. But the problem is that people go for Scrum and then they throw out what they already had. So this is why we call it the fashion. We look like the fashion industry. So all of them are good, but none has everything you need. We also have no common ground. Every one of us know how to develop our own software, but as a community we have no widely accepted common ground. We have no, we call theory, or whatever it is, but we have nothing we can say, this is where we should start. And we all agree on that. We have a huge number of methods. There are more than 100,000 methods in the world. That's not the problem itself. The problem is we cannot compare them. We cannot learn from them. It's just impossible. So they're all unique. If you had worked in one organization as a programmer, you cannot move to anyone else without starting at the benches. And that is too bad. We have no common ground. And the lack of a credible evaluation, experimental evaluation and validation means basically throw out our whole method with, and replace it with a new popular one without...
Are we in the Middle East?
Slightly north.
This is what we are, we are burning our money. Throwing away, we burn the money. And then finally, the damaging split between the industry and academic. There is very little academic work that ever reached the industry.
I'm glad you paint the industry people black.
And I am sure they would like to change too. But can we ignore the color for a moment? All right.
You are.
I do. So now, that resulted in we need to do something. And that was CMAT. And this was started in 2009, as you all know. And we started by painting a grand vision. What is it that we want to do? So we said we support the process to refound software engineering. That's basically the most important wording here. So saying refound software engineering, that is like re-engineering. It is starting all over. And amazing how many people agreed on that. But it needed to be done. And the next steps that we said, and this is now 2009, was to define a solid theoretical basis and a kernel of widely agreed elements that we could use as a basis for defining whatever we do, defining software engineering. And this should be, of course, concrete things, not just some definitions in text. It should be concrete and useful. So those who are latecomers, you are still very welcome, and hope you will enjoy it. That is basically what I wanted to say right now. We have two big tasks, and these tasks are actually now here. We have about 30 people have worked for 1 or 2 years on the finding the kernel. And we have now about 10 people more or less interested in working on a field. But the interest here has started late. We started very late. And now we have quite a good interest, so it will go. These are the people who signed up for it. We have Linus here. Pekka Abrahamsson would have been here, but he became sick and had to stay away, which is very sad, because he wrote me and told me in an email and said, I had to tell Jan Bosch that he is fully on board on what we are doing in sea. And he would, if he would be here, he would be a strong power to support the ongoing work. It doesn't mean he wouldn't be critical. He would still be critical, and that's what we need. We need to have this balance. What we hope for after these 2 days is that we agree on that we have a general direction that can work. Doesn't mean we need to bring in every detail, but at least we have something we can start to work with together. We like also to formulate the hypothesis and then verify experimentally that this hypothesis is right or needs to be corrected. But the wonderful thing is that these people are all mature, experienced. Some of them are over 80. Some of them are just young kids, like 70. And then there are some babies too. But it's fantastic. These people have signed up and said, we support the process to be found software engineer. And they are from all around the world. We also have partners in the industry, and they are, some of them are very actively involved in this, for instance, IBM, Ericsson. We have people around in Korea, quite a couple, and in China we have Huawei, which is one of the biggest telecom vendors in the world. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, a real threat to our old Swedish Ericsson. And in academia, we have about 15, 16 universities supporting it in academic institutions from all around the world, but 7 from China. And in China we're going to have a similar workshop December 8th and 9th, as of 1 month from now, exactly. We will not have a theory track there, we will have a workshop on evaluation of CMAT. But that will more be a CMAT introduction workshop. And professors from all these universities will come to this workshop, and then other people. So the top guys from these universities have signed up to come in China. We have also 3 chapters that are working independently of the international CMAT. We have one in China, and that I mentioned, Latin America, and in South Africa. In South Africa, they're very active. They work basically once a month and have meetings and have reports and work on it. In China, there is a lot of work.
Which universities in South Africa?
Wits,
Yeah.
in Johannesburg,
Yeah.
but also Cape Town. So we are both Cape Town and Pretoria, by the way, too.
No, I was interested because I know some of the people at Johannesburg.
Okay, good. Should
And
network.
we'll talk about it.
There are 2 more chapters just about to be set up. And one is in Russia, and they have already agreed on doing it. They have identified their executive chairman and a number of members, and we are looking for a good conference where we can announce it. And in Iberia is Spain, Portugal. They have already made their website, they have already their executive committee, and they are working. That, I don't know if there will be some kind of formal inaugurement of that chapter. So this is what I just wanted to say as a start, and so we have a little bit of that history, common history. Many of you have already heard it a couple of times, I apologize for that, but it's good to have that background for all of us. So now I think Pontus, you should tell us about the program, and then on of the other program.
Okay. Okay, so once again, welcome from KTH and this department that I'm heading. As Ivar said, we have two different tracks, but they intermingle, so there's also common sessions here. So this is the joint program for these 2 days. We are right now here with the joint introduction, and as Ivar said, Michael here, he became ill. We will have sessions in the 2 different workshops during the day, and this one should also be a session, I'm sorry about that. At the end of today, we will have a invited web presentation and video conference presentation by Capers Jones, who's hoping that the second storm that is sweeping across the northeast of the United States will not cause another power outage for him. So if we're not unlucky, we will see him here. He will spend half an hour talking to us. We have lunch, which I should just give you some details about, as well as the dinner. I'll just give you first the Friday, where Dines will be holding an invited presentation early in the morning, so we need to synchronize the dinner here and the early morning here, so that you make sure to not miss it. And at the very end of Friday, we have, well, first separate summaries, but then, no, I'm sorry, this is also, it should be from 15 to 16, we have a joint summary here. So this is the general program for the 2 workshops. And then I'll just give you some practical information about the lunch. It will be a few hundred meters away. We will guide you there. This is a low administration workshop, so there are no costs for you for coming here except for your own food, but then you have to pay it, and so there's this administrative problem with the restaurant needing to take a payment from all of you. So when we're down there, you will need to leave your table to pay during the dinner, or maybe they can come after us. Otherwise, we will be late for the afternoon sessions. And we will have dinner at 6:30 this evening at the Sven Harrys, which is a restaurant on which Ivar has tried already in Vasaparken. I was horrified when I yesterday realized that I had booked it for yesterday for all these people. I called them and they arranged the chambre séparée for us for today. So we can still go there, although I have a very bad conscience because they lost some business there. So this is the joint program. I'll just also give you, most of you I think will be here in the general theory workshop, but many will be in the other one. I'll just give you, for the ones who will be in the other workshop, I'll give you a very brief feeling for what we will be talking about here, and then Arne will do the same for the other ones, so that you know what's going on. It's a small letters here. But we will start with presentations. For the general theory workshop, most people have presented, they've submitted a 2-page paper, position paper, and they will have presentations. We will keep these very short, so it will be 15 minutes per presentation. So everyone gets to say their thing, their take on what a general theory of software engineering could possibly be, because this is very unclear. I think that we have many opinions about it. Today we will talk about all aspects of theories. We won't be proposing any theories. We've collected that for tomorrow. And then we will have some discussions. So in the afternoon we will spend time talking about what theory, a general theory of software engineering could possibly be. So we're hoping to have a lot of discussions and that we can move forward in those discussions. We will see. It will be very exciting, I think. And for tomorrow, we have some people who have, I've categorized these submissions, these papers as proposals. They have ideas about what a theory, a general theory of software engineering, what it should contain. So if you feel that you don't at all fit here, maybe we can rearrange rapidly, but I think that this is correct. And then we will have discussions throughout the day, continuing about the contents of a general theory of software engineering. So that's what we will be talking about in this room, and then Arne will say some words now, I think, about what we will be talking about in the other room.
Thank you very much. Yes, so we have this common start and finish, and hopefully have some interaction during the days, also in the breaks, because there is of course an interesting relationship of theory and practice. And what we are doing in the other workshops that we call, let's see if we can go open them here. Hold there, fingers. Called the CEMAT workshop on practices framework for software engineering, evaluation of essence. It's related to this proposal and the concrete work. So there's a stack of documents that some of you have looked at that is coming out of the earlier work in CEMAT. And we want to review and discuss around the concrete results. So the two incarnation of this is kind of the Essence book, which you can get online on Safari Online now. But also in particular the Essence submission to OMG, kernel language for software engineering methods, which is now progressing in the standardization process at OMG. And it's actually being into its final revised submission on Monday. So it's already getting towards the final stages, but you have an opportunity to both influence and contribute to the further activities here. So the intention is basically, if you look into what we're going to do, let's see, let's roll here. Use 2 fingers. There we are, okay. This morning we're then going to give the introduction to Essence, and also in the context of CEMAT. So Ivar will talk a little bit about the broader context of CEMAT, and then we'll introduce you to Essence as it is in the standard and in the underlying book. So I will provide the context of the structure of the standardization document, which is a language part and a kernel part. And then we will spend more time on the kernel part, which sorry about that. That's fine. Let's get it. 2 fingers. Let's see. We are getting to the session here between just before lunch. Then Ian Spence here will talk about the Essence kernel, which is also in the context of the Safari book. And we'll have joint lunch together, so we synchronize the coffees and the lunch. And then after lunch, we continue to scroll there, we'll basically discuss around the concepts in the kernel and also the language, and have the participants' perspective into this, and be able to discuss various of the detailed parts and also the context around it. We have the coffee break again and continue the discussion, so we have a set of concepts or questions to be discussed. We will talk about this in the group, exactly what we will address when and how. One of the things we want to end up with is some strategies on the evaluation of essence in the context of empirical and evidence-based software engineering, to be able to understand how it works in practice and what kind of things we can do to actually do this exercise. So there are various proposals on the way to do that. I want to join you again at the end of the day for the invited talk by Curtis Jones and for the dinner. And also tomorrow morning with a presentation by Dines. And then we will continue on topics related to the usage of essence. There is a number of areas where this can apply in education. We're already applying it at courses at the KTH with Mira, at Florida Atlantic University with Shihong, at the University of Oslo with me. Also in research, various aspects of research and in industry. So we'll talk about, say, these different usage areas. After the coffee break, we'll give some extensions, also practical use of essence and extensions of essence. We have done some on business analysis and others. And we'll discuss with the participants on various things we can do around usage, also getting it back to the evaluation, how essence can be used for particular industrial situation, and also put it in the context of other frameworks that we are relating to, like the ONG SPEM standard, ISO 24744, also software process frameworks, CMMI and others, just to make sure that we place essence in the overall context of others. And after lunch we want to discuss a little bit on the steps going from here. Ivar talked about the different CMAP chapters. Notably you saw that there was no chapter in this region, so that's one thing to consider and to discuss. For those who read the invitation to this, we also have something called the Interop North Pole, which is a chapter for enterprise interoperability that Pontus and I have been involved in. And we have some experiences on how to organize these voluntarily non-paid activities and what to do to get this to work or not. So that are some inputs for this discussion, or perhaps a Nordic CMAT chapter. And then we'll have a joint, after the summary, a joint meeting between the workshops again. So that's basically the idea for this. Anything I forgot to say on the structure? So hopefully we get the synergy between us. What I also had hoped we could get time for actually was a quick little introduction to the participants, but that's something you can see it's a schedule for us.
No, but I think that's a very good idea because we have time now. So let's do that. Let's just have a quick round the table introduction of the participants.
Yes, Christian Sandor, Linköping University, Sweden, and I'm a great fan of Open Up for the moment in my courses, but I'm very interested in the CMAP thing, make a change. Thank you.
Eckhard Kindler, Denmark's Technical University. I got interested in, when I read Ivar's book, I was really interested in the concepts which are there, and I would like to see how this becomes into the theory and what is the theory part of it. And that's why I'm in the theory track.
This is Ivar. I'm Dines Bjørn. I'm Dines Bjørn, a retired professor since 5 years, from the Technical University of Denmark. You will hear about my interests tomorrow morning if you survive tonight. And I'm a great fan of Ivar.
Should we, Ingvar?
Okay, Ingvar Ivenet, Ericsson. Been involved with Ivar for 15 years or more now in different contexts. We do not always agree, but we get along.
My name is Paul Ralph. I'm from Lancaster University in the UK. I did my this PhD dissertation on theories of software engineering, and I come from a management and information systems background, so I may apply a slightly different language than is generally used in software engineering and computer science.
My name is Xin Hong Huang. I'm an associate professor at Florida Atlantic University. I've been part of a CMAT since the beginning, so when you receive a lot of emails from me. And now this semester I'm teaching a requirements engineering class that will apply the kernel, some of those concepts in those classes. Hopefully, at the end of the semester, we could produce a nice module that can be duplicated in different universities and places.
Max Bushner. I'm a PhD student at Pontus Department. I study computer science, and that's one of my hobbies and interests. I haven't any experiences with this community before.
But you're planning to fix it, right?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely, I can tell. My name is Jan Bosch, Professor of Software Engineering at Chalmers University of Technology, Director of a software center together with 4 local companies together with Jürgen Hansson sitting next to me, who will undoubtedly introduce himself next.
Jürgen Hansson, Professor of Software Engineering, heading the Software Engineering Division at Chalmers. New to the CMAT community, still trying to learn a bit more on how to use it.
Harold Lawson, but I usually go by my American nickname Bud. And I've been in long experience in the computer industry since 1958, and also working in various types of applications, both in academic and industrial environments. And I was on Ivar's thesis committee, as a matter of fact.
Thank you for that.
Ian Spence, I work with Ivar Jakobsen International, and I've been leading the universals track that put the kernel together.
Manwei, I'm from IGI. I work with Ivar on the CMAT book. So I'm rolling out this kind of approach to software engineering on the East, China, Japan. Then I'm here to attend the theory track.
Mikko Tiusanen. I'm from Tampere University of Technology in Finland, professor. My background is in concurrent programming, dabbled in fault tolerant and real-time stuff. So originally Petri nets. So you may hear of that word again tomorrow.
My name is Howell Jordan. I'm just finishing my PhD at LERO, the Irish Software Engineering Research Centre. I'm completely new to the CMAT initiative. I have a very unfashionable interest in the topic of software metrics, and I thought it might fit. That's why I'm here. I'm here to listen.
My name is Mark. I'm a professor of computing and School of Computing in Northern Metropolitan University. I'm new to this community. My PhD was in distributed software configurations.
Hello, Ivan has already presented me. I'm from here, from KTH. Mira Kajkovatsson is my name. And I deal with software engineering, software lifecycle processes from the end until the software systems are dead or retired. I don't want to say I am a big fan of Ivar. I am a little bit, but I think you are a great big fan of me than I
am. Are you here to win more fans?
So yeah, sure.
My name is Per Runesson. I'm a professor of software engineering from the university. I'm very interested in empirical studies, case studies especially, and I hope that can be a contribution to the theory parts.
So I'm Matthias Ekstedt. I'm from this department here at KTH. I'm a colleague with Pontus. I'm a second professor here.
Matthias, speak up.
Oh.
Should I go all over from the beginning? No, okay. I have a general interest in theories and especially systems engineering, so I will be attending that part.
My name is Ian Buder. I'm currently from the Department of Computer System Science of Stockholm University. I'm trying to start academic career. My research the last 20 years at least was concentrated on business processes. I have software engineering experience practical over 30 years. Now I want to convert some of reflections and practice into something that me is your.
I'm Tero Päivärinta. I'm professor of computer and system sciences at the Luleå University of Technology. And I have also a background from information systems. And we have studied a bit what actually software development teams and systems development teams do in practice. When my colleague Kari Smolander from Lappeenranta in Finland, he saw the title of this workshop. So that was so bold attempt that I couldn't stay away from coming here. So I'm very interested to see and to get to know this community.
Okay, so my name is Arne Berre from SINTEF Research Institute in Oslo, Norway, well actually headquarters in Trondheim. So I have my master and PhD from Trondheim, even though I've been in Oslo since the mid-80s. Met Ivar at the first UTLA conference, 1986 in Portland, Oregon. Spent a year there after that at Xerox PARC and the object-oriented community. And has been working at SINTEF, which is an applied research center in Oslo since, so that's been 30 years, working on methodologies and architectures for distributed systems. Been involved in standardization activities in OMG and ISO. OMG since it started with Corba in '89 basically, and with UML standards and with various modeling standards, and all different profiles like service-oriented architecture modeling and value modeling, and then now the Essence standard, which we are moving forward in OMG. With the focus on applied research, we are really focusing on getting this into industrial use and also say governmental use, and to put it in the framework of empirical and evidence-based software engineering. So that's what we'll discuss in the practices workshop.
Okay, and finally me myself. Well, I'm Pontus Johnson, as you may know now. I'm a professor here at this department. It's called the Department of Industrial Information and Control Systems. I'm also the head of the department. We're doing a lot of research on enterprise architecture. That's where we publish mostly. So software engineering is a kind of, we encounter software engineering all the time. We've been doing that for, well, since we started. And for a long time ago, well, 10 years ago, Matthias and I, we had a kind of a hobby project on a general theory of software engineering, which didn't amount to very much. An article and a book, which we published on Google Books. But then, 10 years later, Ivar called us and said, hey, I heard about your theory. So here we are. So we're trying to, well, to me this is very much about starting up with an open discussion about theory, because that theme seems to me that that's where we need to start here. And I hope that's what the theory track will be about. Okay, that's great. We're actually, for I think, just a short while, a bit ahead of schedule. I'm sure that we will very rapidly lose our grounds. We'll try to stick to the schedule. But now it's time for us to go our different ways for a little while. The two workshops. So the practices frameworks workshop is in the conference room over there, and the general theory workshop remains here. So this is, I think, a good opportunity then to switch rooms for those who should.